Brandon says, my mom ate a whole watermelon at one sitting when she was pregnant with me.
Wow.
Huh.
Seems like you're a leech, Brandon, just sucking off your mom's life force.
You can't talk to the first mate like that. Welcome to the Nerd Cave News. I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with in the deep underground, in the dark caves of the earth, there lurks a lizard humanoid civilization preparing to take over the earth, led by their leader, Agazosk, the Oppressor.
Well, you said lizard humanoid, and that's the first thing that came to mind. Like Brandon said, there's no sanity here.
Agazosk, I'm thankful that you can be a part of this episode this week. For the audio listeners, as I was introducing Agazosk, the Oppressor,
I did a monitor lizard tongue flick.
The tongue flick was happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tried to make a sound with it, but it didn't come out like I wanted it to, so I'm just like, all right, we'll just roll with it.
Yeah. It all worked.
Yeah.
Agazosk, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're going to get to hang out. We've got a lot to cover. Because this episode is brought to you by our wonderful patrons. You can become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave, just like our wonderful crew members, the first mate, Brandon Hicks, our helmsman, the conductor, our gunners, Richard Newell, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Water Yoga, Marilyn James, Brittany, the Granny B. Harrison, and our deckhand, Martin Sager. I don't get it. Come on, Agazosk.
Oh, excuse me.
Can we not get anyone else on the show, Kevin?
Kevin. This is what happens when you do free labor.
Guys, if you don't have the extra bucks to toss our way over on Patreon, you can support us by going over to the Epic Games Store and using our Epic Creator Code. You can use in-game purchases as well, like Fortnite or Rocket League, on any device that is eligible. Or if you're buying one of them spicy new games, if you're getting, Sifu, we'll talk about that here in a second. Getting Sifu, guess what? Boom, yep. You can use that.
Not seafood, seafood.
Yeah, not seafood. You can tell people Nerd Cave like at checkout, and they were like, okay. But you have to use it in the Epic Games Store, guys. Use our Epic Creator Code. It helps us out. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it tosses a few dollars our way. So again, use Nerd Cave at checkout to support us with each and every purchase on the Epic Game Store. Video and a big announcement. First time on the Nerd Cave News, we have a podcast version of the show. So each and every week, you'll be like, I don't have time. I don't have YouTube Premium. I can't press the lock button. Like, I can't do that, Zach. I need a podcast version. Well, wait no longer. You can get your podcast version easily. Link is down in the description below, or put !podcast in the chat. You'll be taken to a place where you can go to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, all those cool places, wherever you want to go. Podcast services around the world. Check out Nerd Cave News. Give us a 5-star rating. Helps the algorithm say, hey, you want to check this thing out. It's like one of those guys with the big old trench coat. You know what I mean? Big old trench coat. It's like, hey, you want a podcast?
Or no,
I got you a podcast.
Better yet, it's like the vendor from, I think, Resident Evil 4 is like, what are you buying? What are you selling? Good things on sale today, stranger.
Oh, that's what I like. That's what I like. Apparently, and I'm not upset or mad, Aster. Apparently, my shirt reminds him of a hospital gown.
Well, I mean, sometimes you do act like you escaped from an insane asylum, but that's neither here nor there.
I was going to say, well, I'm not going to show my tail tonight.
Guys,
our February game club game is Sifu, Sifu, guys. It has been a fantastic game. I've enjoyed this game. It is so much harder
Oh
than
my gosh.
we thought. Like, I didn't think this game was going to be this difficult, but my lord, it is difficult. But I am enjoying every run that I play. And this is a game you got to practice. Like, in between each level, you need to go in and just do some practices and get better. And you need to go back to previous levels and play it again so you can go in younger, unlock things. Don't just willy-nilly, because like when I started playing, it's like, oh, I want to try this thing out. I want to try that one out. It's like, no, just put all your points into one move and unlock it completely.
Yeah.
And be done with it. So,
because it'll help you in the long run, and especially have that dodge parry button, handy too, because Lord, especially when you get to the second level, there's already going to be like things thrown at you from the get-go. It doesn't like the first level, like you're dipping your toe in the water to the boss fight, and then it's like, all right, boom, here you go. But then that second level is like, all right, you had enough practice. Here you go. Time to go. Time to hit the ground running.
Exactly.
Oh, not ready yet? Sucks to suck.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy how much is in that game. I am really, really enjoying it. And I can't wait to get more into it, Derek. I can't wait to get further into it, but that's
later in the show, because help is on the way.
That's later. You're struggling with it. You're having trouble with it. You're like, I don't know if this game is for me. Well, we got some stuff that might pique your interest.
Yeah.
Might pique your interest, because first up on the gaming discussion tonight, Brandon's prayers have been heard. Maybe people will actually play this game, because Cyberpunk 2077 current gen, let's just be honest, current gen.
No, you can't find PS5, so it's next gen. I'm never going to let that go.
I know. Cyberpunk 2077 new gen, current gen, whatever you want to call it, update now live, includes AI and driving overhauls, new weapons, better crowds, and more.
And it's before I get into the article, it was like stone cold, like when his theme music hits and you hear the glass shattering. It's like everyone's talking about, Horizon this, Sifu that, Elden Ring this, and Pokemon that, and it's like Cyberpunk just crashes through the windows like, you remember me? You forgot me? I'm still here.
It's all like, it's got like missing teeth and it's like got crazy eyes.
It's like Squid Billy.
No, it's the first boss. It's the gardener. Like when he's like goes like he's got the big old crazy eyes. That's Cyberpunk. Right. That's Cyberpunk.
Right. But if you were waiting to play CD Projekt Red's latest RPG, 2020 Cyberpunk 2077 on new gen consoles, now is your time, because patch 1.5 is the game's new gen update, and it's out now on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. As expected, this patch brings a wealth of changes to the game systems and gameplay, including AI overhauls, big changes to driving, new apartments to rent, changes to the open world map, and of course, different modes to experience Cyberpunk 2077. In terms of modes, you can expect a performance mode on PS5 and Xbox Series X that runs the game at 60 FPS with a 4K resolution that features dynamic frame rate dependent scaling. CD Projekt Red says in performance mode, players may experience small and rare frame rate drops. The screen space reflections, or SSR, quality in this mode is, quote, medium/half resolution, and there will be no ray tracing. If you're looking for a ray-traced Night City on new-gen consoles, you'll need to play in the ray tracing mode. This mode runs the game at 30 FPS with a scaling 4K resolution, ray-traced local shadows, and a, quote, high/half resolution SSR quality. On the Xbox Series S, you'll only have the performance mode at your disposal, which will run the game at 30 FPS with a 1440p resolution and medium half resolution SSR quality. On the changes, fixes, improvements, and bugs squashing side of things, there are hundreds of improvements in patch 1.5. For a full breakdown, there's a link in the article that you can read the entire. We're not covering that, but some of the highlights include like new weapons. Let me see if I can do this. Additional apartments, and all that. We covered that earlier, but there's new stuff. This feels like very GTA Online-esque when you talk about the apartments, cars, and weapons and whatnot. But here are some of the major talking points discussed during today, because they did a stream on this to cover it. These were the major talking points. Completely reworked perk trees. All of your perks will be unassigned if you pick up on an old save, and you'll need to reassign them all due to how drastically the perk tree system has been changed. You'll find new branches, the removal of some perks, and the additions of new ones. Combat changes to AI. AI enemies react better to player reactions. Combat is more fluid too. Driving. Reworked burnout models have been implemented. There's more control while driving, and AI driving is more predictable. Vehicles feel heavier too, plus braking is better. Drifting is more realistic, and the suspension feels better in all vehicles. First-person dashboards and interiors have been reworked as well. Night City. CD Projekt Red says it's more live and crowds react better to your actions. Crowd members will start shooting at you based on what you do, or they might run away. Traffic. Drivers drive more realistically, and there are more pedestrians during the day. Map. Gigs do not reveal their type, and additional colors have been added to the map to make it easier to read. Economy. You'll receive more cash for completing quests and gigs, and items and vehicles aren't as expensive to purchase. Stores have been revamped with new items, sales, and new aesthetics for weapons. Your home. You can now change your appearance mid-game in the mirror of your apartment. Additional appearance options include new types of hair, extra hair colors, and more makeup options, and new colors for makeup. And then you have Easy Estates. This is a new app on your computer, and with it you can change your apartment's aesthetic, and you can find new apartments to rent. Of course, there are dozens upon dozens of other changes and fixes now live with patch 1.5. And so, you can read the patch notes in the article on GameInformer.com if you want to check that out. So, like we said, this is Stone Cold coming in, saying, remember me. Does this do anything for you? Like, I know neither of us have played, well, let me not speak for you. I got Cyberpunk, never even played it. I think I uninstalled it from my Xbox to make room for other stuff. But does this want you to try and get you into the game at all, or intrigue you, or what? What are your thoughts?
I gotta see some stuff about it before I'm not going to be sinking any time into this thing anytime soon. With Sifu, with Horizon, with the Halo multiplayer grind that I'm still doing right now.
Yeah.
It's more interesting. I feel like in a few more months, like we might be getting something even better. Some more bug fixes and everything. So maybe down the road, if I owned it, but I won't be buying it. Which I don't know. I think Brandon has it on Xbox. I also game share with him. So I don't know if he has it or not. So I'm not really it makes it more appealing.
Yeah.
But I need to see it in action to make sure that it doesn't just still, crap the bed essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I know there's a ton of stuff going on. Murdoch said 30 frames per second. That's slow for most games, but again, this is a game that has been plagued with a ton of issues. And that's the Xbox Series S that is running at 30 frames per second. That's not the X. So it's definitely the
there's a mode
end.
on the X. There's a mode on the X that if you want ray tracing, it'll bump it down to 30 frames. But if you don't care about ray tracing, you can get up to 60. So.
Yeah, and then Murdoch continues to say, I was waiting for the bugs to be gone. The update just before this one fixed a lot. And then Brandon chimed in, you won't find a game nowadays that doesn't have bugs.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Especially if it has a an online component or is a massive open world game.
Yeah, and Murdoch says this, and I think this is a really poignant point, but I'm not going to beat the drum on it. I'm just going to read it real quick. We shouldn't be paying for bugs, though. Games used to release without them.
100%.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And unfortunately, that people have paid for them, and that has become the norm. And it will. I don't know if we'll ever go back to where we get games, that don't have those issues. Even Halo has had its problems, but they have been fast to fix them.
Yep.
Cyberpunk, on the other hand, has come out 2020, November 2020, I want to say.
December.
Okay. and we're in in February of 2022, and it's
Yeah.
finally getting a patch that's like fixing the big things. And I know Brandon is going to say, well, you never played it, so you don't know how good it is. It's like, that's okay.
Yeah. I see enough.
Yeah.
But for me, this continues down the roadmap because they try to do like an Avengers, like Marvel's The Avengers game,
Mm-hmm.
style roadmap where they had a plan in place, and then when they had to they pretty much had to make the game running before they could do anything else. So they delayed the next gen. I know there's a multiplayer expansion, and then whatever story DLC they're going to do, they kicked all that down the road to this year. Now, whether I don't know if the story DLC or multiplayer DLC is going to be first. Which one of those is going to be first, but I suspect one will be this year. And then they may start to do the other one at the end of the year and then kick it, run it into 2023. But it's great to see that they still are sticking to their guns and making sure that, hey, whether for good or for bad, we're invested in this game. We want you to play it.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad that, they're trying to recover their name, because CD Projekt Red is known for really good games. I like The Witcher. The Witcher series is amazing. So maybe we finally get something that is playable. And Murdoch even comes in. Bugs are okay. Game breaking bugs are not okay. Nor are lies about microtransactions. EA. Well, that's a whole nother ball game talking about microtransactions. I feel like people bring up microtransactions like I'm that teacher that like goes off on like aliens or like the JFK assassination or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like back and to the left. It's like there were two shooters. And it's like people like trying to bring up microtransactions. So I go off.
They're trying to trigger you.
Exactly. Microtransactions. Well, I hope that Cyberpunk 2077 continues to improve. There's another game that's fixing to be coming up that I'm wondering where it's going to go. Hopefully, its free-to-play model will not make it, riddled with microtransactions. And that, of course, is the Division Heartland. Details have been revealed in a new report by Ubisoft.
So Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland hasn't been in the spotlight, and that's because we haven't been hearing anything about it. The last news we got came from a leak almost a year ago. Now, however, we've gotten our first confirmation of some details that have previously leaked, and some new details as well. The report comes from website Xfire and known leaker Tom Henderson, who confirms that Heartland will consist of two modes, being Storm and Excursion. The latter of the two was previously believed to be named Expedition. Excursion is a PvE mode, while the main draw of Heartland is PvE-VP mode. Storm, according to the report, wait, hold on. Let me reread that. While the main draw of Heartland is the PvE-VP mode, Storm. According to the report, Excursion is comparable to a tutorial mode for Storm. An opportunity to fight AI, learn the map, Silver Creek, something you'll definitely need to do considering the changes to classic Battle Royale gameplay. One of those changes being that the toxic gas that usually would come from the outside can appear anywhere on the map randomly. That's great. So it's good to know where to go when you're in a tight spot. There will be a tiered loot to collect when exploring Silver Creek as you aim to survive, loot, and extract. Your weekly missions or challenges are called projects, which you can enable at your base of operations. You can also craft upgrades and prep yourself to head back into Silver Creek. There are 4 different specific prep items that you can give that can give you a good advantage in each map. Insertion Point, which does what it sounds like, is that it allows you to choose where you land. Stash Box, an item that lets you store extra consumables and materials. Buff Tower and Extractor Pod. Don't have a description on them, but the latter seems at least self-explanatory. The report also includes details on the differences between characters and classes and the classes themselves. Players are only differentiated by their appearance, while what actually is important for you is choosing your class. Weapons Expert, Medic, and Survivalist make up the 3 classes you can choose from. The Weapons Expert gets a a wall hack of sorts by being able to mark enemies they've damaged for 5 seconds. On top of that, your armor kits will heal nearby teammates as well as your own. Medics do the same thing with health kits, and their special ability is having a regenerative health bar. Lastly, survivalists will be able to pinpoint spots that are unlooted while crouching and is perfect for grabbing that pivotal piece of loot. There's still no official release date on Marvel. I almost said Marvel's. Jesus. Tom Clancy's Division Heartland, though that we last heard in October, we can expect it to come March of 23, which is the Ubisoft's fiscal year. So expect it there. So, my 2 cents on this is, I did not and maybe I like it said. It's been over a year since we got details.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember them saying this was a battle royale.
No, I don't remember that.
And I'm almost at the point where I'm just like, this game is already out for me because Derek don't do battle royales. Derek don't really care for battle royales. Been really tempted by Apex a lot of the time, but never played it. The only saving grace is because Dying Light, if you remember, they did sort of a battle royale style thing, which was like what Heartland is doing, PvPvE or PvEVP, where it's like you have a team of players trying to be the first to get like the cure for whatever disease strain of the zombie virus and get out, be the first. It was sort of like Division, the Dark Zone for the Division, where you get in, get your stuff, get out. So that's the only saving grace that would tempt me. But at the same time, when you say battle royale, I'm immediately turned off.
I agree. I don't remember it being battle royale, and hearing that, I'm just like, I'm done. I know Warzone is huge. Like, I know Warzone continues to be big. So does Fortnite. So does Apex. I don't know that there's room for another battle royale. Look at Battlefield. Like, they've tried several times. Look at Battlefield 5. Now with 2042, I think they had a battle royale mode in that as well. It's like there's not enough air in the room for another one to come in and be successful. You've also have PUBG out there, which it is like the one that kind of like still lives in its own little way and everything, but I don't think that it has. A lot of people don't play battle royales. You see like content creators playing battle royales more, because like it's just evergreen content. So I don't know. I don't think that this is the right direction for the Division. But I feel like Ubisoft's just late to the game here,
per usual.
That's what it feels like. It's like they're late to the game. Like, they're really early on new technologies, and it's usually ones that fail, or they're really late to like certain concepts of like the gaming like trends and everything. Like RPGs were a huge thing, open worlds were a huge thing, MMOs were a huge thing, first person shooters, so battle royales, like all of these things we've seen, but like they have a shelf life, and making a game like this is just, throwing money into a toilet and flushing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, especially when you're doing the freemium type thing and the free to play aspect with the pay. I'm sure there's pay microtransaction options in there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like you said, they're definitely late to the party on trends. Like, they want to jump in and they want to have a proof of concept because they want to be part of the discussion, but then they forget how long it takes developers to pivot, especially like, granted, Ubisoft is a huge company with 20 studios at least. So everyone can be working on different things, but you can't just expect a team that, if they're knees deep in a project, to just pivot and be like, hey, can you add this real quick? And it's like, you can't just snap your fingers and make it happen unless you have the Infinity Stones. But yeah,
snap your fingers, do the step. You can do it all by yourself. Let me see you do it.
Hey! Anyway, a little throwback to our years. What was I going to say? But yeah, so I don't know. Like, it's hard to make a game nowadays, especially with the demand and how much money is thrown into it. So Hopefully it finds an audience. I don't think it'll be up there with the Fortnites or the Apexes or what have you, but if it can be up there with PUBG and just be relevant, just doing its own thing, I consider that a win.
I don't think it'll be relevant, but there's a game that is coming that I did not expect, one, and two, I never thought that I would be into at all. But Tiny Tina's, I hit the wrong thing. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands character creator is delightfully bonkers.
So one of them, it's I'm pulling this from IGN. It's their IGN First, which they do a lot of coverage on throughout the month. It's coming out the end of March, so they're doing a deep dive. We've seen some character trailers, like of some of the classes and whatnot, but this is a new thing where you can customize your own character. One of the many defining characteristics of the Borderlands series has been its slate of characters, from the playable to the supporting characters to legendary foes like Handsome Jack. The many people and annoying robots inhabiting the Borderlands universe are among some of the most unique and memorable characters in all of gaming. In Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, you can add yourself to that list of legendary characters, because for the first time in the series' history, you can create your own character. Okay, it's a little bit of a cheat since you're creating a character to play inside a fictional universe created by one of Borderlands' most popular characters of all, Tiny Tina. But you still get to choose the look and style of your character and put them through the paces of a Borderlands game, a first for the series. But it's more than just letting you create and customize to your heart's content. Everything about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands character creation system fits flawlessly into the Borderlands universe. The world of Wonderlands being spun on the fly by Tiny Tina, as well as some deeper tabletop RPG touches you might not expect to find. One of the first jokes when you start up a game of bunkers and whatever, under the watchful eye of Tiny Tina, is a dig at your character model's lack of paint. In fact, the vanilla character template is basically an unpainted miniature, freshly purchased and unpackaged. Much like any real-life tabletop gamer with an investment in the hobby, it's expected you to paint and customize your own miniature, which is a great way to introduce a character creator to the Borderlands series. And there's a section that is titled "Get Monstrous." If you're worried about being unfairly limited within the confines of Tiny Tina's character creator, great news. This is Borderlands. Sure, you could build the most handsome, rock-jawed Giga Chad warrior this side of the Misty Mountains, but that would be missing the point, which is something senior producer Caleb Belmore and creative director Matt Cox were quick to point out. Quote, "You can go full Monster Factory," Cox said, referring to the famous YouTube series where character creation tools are taken to places no one should go. With Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, that sort of freedom to create the most outrageous characters not only encouraged, it's cooked right into the creation process. It's practically expected of you. One of the funnest ways to make your character deeply off is to disengage the sliders for symmetry. I was more than happy to push the creator to its most horrific levels, especially with the blessing of the development team, and I gotta say, I wish I had taken a photo. Being able to turn off symmetry means I was able to make one ear almost imperceptible, while the other was a massive pointed elven ear that reached proportions only seen in animals like the fennec fox, for certain bat species. Except there was just the one. Same with the eyes. One massive bulging eye, like something dragged from the coldest depths of the sea by a Russian fishing boat, while the other was merely a bead, a single black dot shrunken into the socket. In a word, my character was beautiful. The team stressed Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is about your choices, about making the experience feel like your very own, and the tons of options available to you in the character creation process alone is a great way to hammer home that intent. It really is a blank slate from the start, a pale grayish purple figure, which you can apply to the paint of your imagination. There are no options locked behind gender, no specific set of voices to commit to. You are free to make whoever and whatever you want. My character with his offset eyes, horrifying ears, and weird Ginger Richard Simmons fro and mutton chops will not win any beauty awards, and that's really the kind of thing that appeals to me. Now you're probably thinking, hold up, why would I want to customize a character I never see? Isn't this a first-person game? Well, Gearbox has outthunk has outthunk you, I'm afraid, and taking this into account, while it's true a large portion of your playtimes is in first person, anyone playing with you gets to enjoy your horrific or gorgeous creation, but you, the person playing the game, only get to enjoy the fruits of your labor in Tiny Tina's Wonderland's overworld. When moving from area to area in the overworld, you see a tiny super deformed version of your character moving across the play screen. This big-headed avatar is a great chance to really appreciate the hard work you put in creating your character, and the fact that and the fact your SD makes you the most straight-laced character creation look fairly ridiculous. I say lean into it. Another feature I find appealing about Tiny Tina's character creator is that the options at the start of the game aren't static. Much like previous Borderlands games and the quick change machines, you can find new customization options during the course of the game and apply them later on. One of my favorite parts of Borderlands 2 was equipping the new heads to my pre-made character and then flexing to my friends that we'd squad up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands will also have that sort of rarity of customization. Only the combination of options will almost certainly be unseen by anyone else. I'm really interested to see what kind of customization options unlock as you progress. The Minecraft helmet Easter egg in Borderlands 2 remains one of my favorite customization options. Excuse me. There we go. All right. One of my favorite customization options in all of gaming. And knowing Gearbox, I'm confident there will be weird, wild, and hopefully ridiculous options to unlock in Tiny Tina's imminent adventure. So, they're very leaning into just like letting you create. It goes along with the zaniness that is Borderlands, obviously, but they're also leaning into the Dungeons and Dragons theme of this by just saying, "Hey, go ham. If you don't like the character classes we got, if you wanna just do your own thing, have at it."
Yeah, and I like that, because like they've set up a formula. Now they've got to iterate on it, and they're doing the D&D style stuff. And one of the best parts and the most fun parts about doing D&D is getting to create your own character, getting to inhabit that character and everything. So being able to like really go in and do that within this game is going to be a ton of fun, and it's going to make you own the story a lot more than just being a passerby. It's the story's happening to you. No, you're affecting the story. No, you're getting to be a part of it. And I really, really enjoy that, and I like that. And being able to continually customize your character as the game progresses is going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think this is a formula that is going to do well. Again, I've never been huge on the Borderlands series. Like, it's never like the comedy's fun and all of that. I know Travis, he was big into the Borderlands. I was never really super into it and everything, but this might be my way to like get into the series. I did like the Telltale game, but I never finished it, but I did really like it. It was a lot of good humor and all of that. So guys, let us know what you think about it. Are you going to be getting Tiny Tina's down in the chat and in the comments? And as you do that, we're going to be talking about something that happened last week. We were watching the Nintendo Direct, and apparently Nintendo is really scared of the number 9 because you'll be able to play Mario Kart 8's DLC courses online even if you don't own them.
And I'll go on a mini rant here after I read through the article, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe users will be able to play the upcoming booster course tracks online or with friends, even if they haven't paid for the DLC themselves. The new tracks, the first 8 of which will release on March 18th, will be shuffled into Mario Kart 8's online selection of courses on March 22nd, meaning even players who don't own them can occasionally have a go. That being said, there will be 56 tracks in the game after that first wave. Also, so players will initially have just 1 in 7 chance of coming across a new one through random selection. A more consistent way to play without paying is through a friend, as Nintendo also revealed on its website, Per Nintendo Life, that groups of friends can play the new tracks together from March 18th, even if only one player owns the booster course pass. This can be done in local or online play. It's a neat way of keeping the audience from being fragmented between those who have paid and those who haven't, while giving more choice to those that have. The DLC costs $24.99 for all 48 tracks to Mario Kart 8. All of them remastered versions of courses featured from previous games. They'll be released in 6 separate waves between March this year and the end of 2023. The first round of tracks include the Golden Dash Cup and the Lucky Cat Cup, with the following 8 individual courses: Paris Promenade from Mario Kart Tour, Toad Circuit from Mario Kart 3DS, Choco Mountain from Mario Kart 64, Coconut Hall from Mario Kart Wii, Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour, Shroom Ridge from Mario Kart DS, Sky Garden from Mario Kart Adventure, and Ninja Hideaway from Mario Kart Tour. So, my little rant, like, first of all, this is great. It's sort of like, but it also kind of like, I know it's like through a selection, like the process, this is like a random selection, so you can't just jump in and play the new courses, but if you do like a random track selector, you have a chance of getting this, but it also lessens the value of this pass, because while you're paying $25, or, if you're buying the online pass, you get it as part of the bundle with the Animal Crossing DLC now included, but it's like a 4-day early access now. It's like, oh, you paid for this? Play it on the 18th. For those of you who don't want to pay, 4 days later, you have a chance to play some of the tracks if you do the random selection. Or you can play with friends, which that one is great. But like you said, like we saw, like, before, our stream cut out on us last week, we did talk about seeing Mario Kart 9. And instead, when there's like, oh, we're talking about, you love Mario Kart 8? Well, we got a show for you. And it's like, okay, so you're going to talk about 9, right? Right? And Nintendo's like, hey, we're going to add a bunch of 48 new tracks into this over the course of the next year plus, almost 2 years, and just do this. And it's like, huh? This game, like, because if you're going by the Wii U version, this game is, well, by the time this DLC is done, the game will be almost a decade old. And
Yeah.
and it's like, why? Why not just do 9? Like, what is it? Like, I understand, like I said earlier in a couple segments ago, making a game is hard. And maybe the developers are having trouble coming up with ideas to justify making a 9th game. But it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and like when they brought up Mario Kart in the Nintendo Direct, I was like, okay, this is the time that we're going to get that. And we were talking about it even in the pre-show and everything. And then they started showing this, and it was kind of like a letdown, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, we're not getting a new one. We're not getting any new mechanics and everything. Like, I love Mario Kart 8. I think it's a fantastic game. Even at this point, it is still an amazing game. But it's like, you're only adding courses. You're not adding new carts. You're not adding new things because they're done with that. You're not adding new characters. The price of the pack is really good. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, they're fixing to fragment their player base. That's literally what I thought. I'm glad that they're doing it this way, that you can, so they're going to update the game. The tracks are literally going to be on your Switch, like, already. You just don't have access to them unless you play with a friend, or if you play online and you randomly get in there and everything. But again, it's like, where is Mario Kart 9? And Nintendo has been really bad about, if they have a really successful game. So I'm talking about like Smash or Mario Kart. They do not rush to get another game out there. Like, think about how many Mario Karts out there. There are a lot more Mario Karts than there are Smash Brothers. But like Smash, you do not see very many of them. It's like once every console generation at that. Like, you don't see multiple of these. It's not like a Mortal Kombat or something like that. And I feel like Mario, it's almost comical at this point that we're not getting a new one.
Yeah.
It's
the Half-Life 3 of the Mario Kart series.
And this going all the way through 2023, that makes me feel like, okay, they release all of these tracks, the last ones being in 2023. That doesn't mean we're getting a Mario Kart 9 in 2023.
And at this point, you got to wonder, it's like, because there's people throwing around, it's like, oh, what if this is just like Mario Kart 8.5 and they'll just skip to 10? I don't think they'll do that.
No.
But I do think they'll just be like, hey, we're just gonna add another tagline. We're done numbering. We're just gonna do Mario Kart tagline, whatever like shtick they want to add in.
It could just be Mario Kart Ultimate.
Yeah.
Like whatever. I don't really care. Just continue to, like, the tracks are going to be awesome. They already look great. Like, I'm excited to play those tracks because, like, it's nice to get finally something new there. But again, it's like, I want new cards. I want new characters to play with. I want, new different things here. Like, add with these different tracks. Like, are we going to be getting different Grand Prix and all of that? Are we going to get a different CC class, like something? Even like the more party games, like the balloon pop or the coin pickup and all of that. It's like, are we going to add anything to that? No, we're just going to add more tracks. So I'm glad that they're doing something. But this makes me feel like it's going to be 2025 before we get a Mario 9.
Probably.
Mario
Now,
Kart
what
9.
will be really insulting would be if they do. Now, they haven't done it for Smash Brothers yet. But what would be really insulting is after 2023, they get the last tracks out, and then 2024, they're like, hey, we're going to re-release Mario Kart with all the DLC built into the game. Like, we're just going to keep adding more versions of Mario Kart 8. And it's like, okay, to keep beating this keep beating this point in, this was a port of a Wii U game.
Yeah.
A great Wii U game, but this was a port already. And it's like, you just keep adding to it. It's like, I know they added some courses to the Wii U version, and then they ported all that over. And it's like, hey, we could do more with this. And it's like, you should have done more of this at the very most 2 years after the game had been ported over, not almost like 8 years after.
Yeah, well, and think of it this way. It's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now we're adding more stuff to it. This is not very deluxe now. If you buy the base game, because like, from the Wii to this, it had all the DLC that was put out and everything, but now that's not the case. So maybe they do super deluxe or whatever. I have no idea.
And to also bring up this point, Nintendo don't believe in making and dropping the price of their games.
Oh no!
So you're only gonna pay $60 and then charge another $25 if you want all the extra tracks, and it's like, bruh.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad they're not fragmenting the player base and everything. I'm not even sure how many concurrent players they have, but there's clearly players there for them to do something like this. Because Mario Kart, like, we haven't played in a long time, but we played on some of the extended streams. Race B and all of that. So like, there are people still playing, but it's like, how many people would buy a new Mario Kart game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, like, you don't have to be Call of Duty and put out a new Mario Kart every year, every 5 years, because we're literally almost 10 years into this thing.
I know.
Something new would be great.
and just to put a pin in this, for at least for me, they're going to pad those stats because Mario Kart 8 is always the Black Friday bundle game on Switch. It's a running joke at that point, but they're going to pad those numbers because it's the best-selling Switch game, like, as far as attach rate goes. Mm-hmm. And doing this, it's going to do like a mind trick on people to be like, hey, let me go get Mario Kart. If I got rid of it, let me go buy it again because now I have a reason to play through it.
Yeah, and it is the highest-selling racing game of all time.
Yep.
Just because of that. Just because
pad those stats.
Dan says, he says, I'm not going to pull it up on screen. I haven't played consistently since Mario Kart DS. And I think, it's like we're at different times in our life and everything, but like, being able to carry it around, like, I know the Switch, you can carry it around, but it's like, there's not any new content. It's like, you can only play a game so much without any new content. So, speaking of new content, though, Sifu is going to be getting an accessibility update with difficulty modes and high contrast mode for the PS5 and the PS4.
So help is on the way, guys. If you're having trouble with Sifu, just 3 short days after its full release, Sifu developers Slowclap have announced through Steve Saylor, who is the blind gamer who is big on the accessibility front with games, that the game will be getting an accessibility update. What that means is that players can expect difficulty modes, both easier and more difficult, a high contrast mode for PS5 and PS4, and better captions. After the contention around Sifu's difficulty, it will be interesting to see how both sides of the new modes play, the easier and the more difficult mode. This is a Sailor's tweet. Hey, so it's weird to get help to break news, but yes, Sifu is getting accessibility updates post launch. Better captions, high contrast mode on PS4/5 was on PC, but not on. It was only on PC previously, but now it's coming to the consoles. Difficulty modes, both easier and harder, similar to Metroid Dread's updates, which we saw in the Direct last week as well. Many players are frustrated by the difficulty and the repetition of playing the same levels again and again, though there are clearly also many players who don't seem to mind at all. That's down to the game's mechanics being very well refined, though with the update, it is great that so many more players can now enjoy the game without the difficulty becoming a barrier. Which is exactly what the accessibility in gaming is all about, everyone being able to play. So they didn't say when this will drop. I would assume if they're talking about it, it's probably going to be maybe like 3 weeks to month and a half at most. Maybe, who knows? They didn't really give a timetable, but
Yeah.
And I was even going to mention it before I read Steve Saylor's tweet, that this is exactly what Metroid Dread is doing. It's like, now Metroid Dread is not super difficult, but it is challenging.
Mhm.
But they're like, hey, you want more of a challenge? You want that adrenaline rush to stress your skills? We have a more harder difficult option for you. You just want to come in, play for a little bit, and enjoy the game without having to stress? We got an easy difficulty mode for you. So, especially for people like me, like I said, I got through the first boss, and I tried the second level today. I wasn't really feeling it, but it was difficult nonetheless, and I tapped out after about a few runs. So, for people like me who have, who are time sensitive, like have other things going on in their life, this is great for me to do. I think we talked about it, it's like, depending on how tough the later levels are, you probably will swap the difficulties depending on when this update hits, but who knows if it hits before we have to review this at the end of the month.
Yeah, like the game is it is difficult 100%.
Yeah.
Like it ramps like crazy, but I've been really enjoying the game. The game is about learning, like 100%. Like this is not a game where it's like you just go in. Murdoch learned that the hard way. He was talking some mad crap in the chat when I was playing. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna be able to run this thing and get it in one, and then literally died like in the long hallway.
And then the game said bet.
yeah the hallway where like it does like the Daredevil like hallway.
Oh yeah,
like that's where he died. Not to put Murdoch on blast, but he was talking mad crap. But it is all about learning how the game actually works and going back and doing multiple runs and all of that. But again, not everybody has that time. Not everybody has, the ability to put all of that in. So I'm glad that they're putting in the accessibility. Will I use it? I don't know. I'm on the third boss right now. She is difficult, but I don't think that she is so difficult that I can't beat her on just like the regular stuff. I just need to be able not to die as much in the second level. But I almost beat her. I got like halfway through her health bar. The third level, it just is a lot of people in it. So, but that's neither here nor there. I'm excited for Sifu, guys. It is our game club game of February. So come and join us and be a part of the conversation. We're definitely going to be talking about this at the end of this month. So we're playing normal mode or hard. We're playing hard mode right now. Like they're going to be putting in a easier mode later on. So they're not going to increase the difficulty. They might add another difficulty layer. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they add another layer of difficulty in?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, they said it'll be a more challenging one. So I would almost say like a hard mode. It was like Kung Fu Master mode, or like master mode or whatever it is, So I do think they add in a more challenging difficulty for sure. Where now, if I had to fathom a guess, because Metroid Dread's update's like one hit and you're gone. I don't think Sifu will do that, but definitely like hits will definitely drain your HP a lot more, or they take away because if you do like certain if you do like the triangle circle,
Yeah.
move, you can gain part of your health back.
Hmm.
I think they get rid of that. They're like, nope, you just start. If you lose, if you're low on health, you're stuck with it.
See, I don't know. Maybe they just make people like more spongy. I don't know how they're gonna,
That too.
because it's like that's a takedown thing. But
Yeah.
Murdoch's like, good lord, no, thank you. Dan chimes in,
And
and I hate myself mode. Yeah, yeah, and to your point with all of that, Murdoch says seems like that would break the mechanics because the takedown thing is a mechanic. Maybe
Yeah.
like they keep that there, but it doesn't give as much health. It gives like a smaller
Also true.
percentage. You
Yeah.
know, because like you do replenish your health at the jade like statue, so
Oh yeah.
it could be a smaller percentage, or like you still get the takedown, but you don't get any health. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I ain't playing that harder mode.
No.
I'll tell you that I am not playing the harder mode because I like myself, and I got to do this on stream, and
Yeah.
you know I want to keep my faith and not scream like a crazy person on the
Right.
stream, but yeah, I'm excited for Sifu. And it's a great game. You definitely should play it, guys, if you like a challenge and something fun. But let's move into the Horizon news for the week. First up on the Horizon news, Horizon Forbidden West accessibility features include co-pilot system, subtitles, and more.
You want more accessibility? We've got more news for you. Guerrilla Games has announced details on the Horizon Forbidden West accessibility options ahead of the game's launch. This was posted last week, but this is, in a couple days from now. Speaking on the PlayStation blog, Brian Roberts, the game's principal designer, revealed that subtitles are turned on by default. Beyond that, there's a preset difficulty settings as well as custom difficulty option that allows you to tinker with the amount of damage that Aloy receives and dishes out. In addition, players are able to choose an easy loot option that means you won't have to detach resources from machines before eliminating them. There's also left-handed support for controllers, and you can also remap the control scheme with guidance offered. Quote, another new feature is the co-pilot system, which grants you a second PlayStation controller with mirrored controls access to the game. This only requires another controller, like DualSense controller for PS5 or DualShock controller for the PS4, and a second user profile. The co-pilot system was implemented thanks to incredible feedback and support from our siteless accessibility consultant. Horizon Forbidden West, is due out in a few days. The co-pilot system is intriguing. I wish they kind of elaborated a little bit more on what that will do.
Yeah, I'm wondering what it actually means. Like,
yeah.
What does it actually do? Like, I'm very confused on the, like, how, like, what does it do?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe it's like the like racing games with like the little ghost thing, like which like helps you like learn as you drive. Like maybe there's like a ghost character, like a ghost Aloy that shows you like easier ways to do this, or like gives you like tips on what you did last time to help you not do this again.
Or shows you like it leads you through. I don't
know.
I'm not 100% sure. So we'll get to find out this weekend though.
Yeah.
We get to find out this weekend,
So ready.
Moving on to our next part of the Horizon news, Sony says they will plant a tree for everyone who hits a specific Horizon Forbidden West trophy.
Sony is offering, so this was a really cool thing. They talked about it yesterday, which I find is really cool. Sony is offering to plant a tree for every player who earns a specific trophy in Horizon Forbidden West. The company today announced a Play and Plant program to commemorate the release of Horizon Forbidden West. Sony is working with the Arbor Day Foundation and will donate one tree to a forest restoration project for every player who unlocks the Reached the Daunt trophy in the game. The initiative covers 3 different reforestation projects across the U.S. They are located in Douglas County Forest in Wisconsin, Sheepfire Private Lands in California, and Torreya State Park in Florida. In Douglas County, the surrounding communities and inhabitants are at risk as a result of the previous deforestation, which has destabilized the forest's watershed protection abilities. Sheepfire Private Lands was chosen because gray wolves have returned to the region after being nearly hunted to extinction. They rely on landscapes like forests to thrive, and planting trees helps to accelerate the return of their natural environments. The longleaf pine population has been devastated in Torreya State Park due to deforestation and natural disasters. This increases fire risk as newly exposed ravines surrounded by downed wood become hotter and drier, thus necessitating the effort to plant more trees. The promotion ends on March 25th, or until all 3 reforestation projects are completed. It is estimated that about 288,000 trees will be needed for them. The Reach the Daunt trophy is unlocked automatically early on in the game's story. Horizon Forbidden West launches and it launches in a few days, blah, blah, blah. So this is cool. And this is, when I read this, I'm like, all right, what trophy is it? And it's like basically a story-based trophy, which I'm sure, like I said, early on in the game, I'm sure it's going to be like, cause there was like villages and like, you could kind of make the stake like the Karja Sundome was like your main hub area because you had to keep going back there. I'm assuming the Daunt is going to be like, you leave from where you are to go to the Forbidden West, and this is going to be like your huge settlement that you go into, and this is going to be like your base of operations. So it's easy to pop, and they only need 288,000 to reach their goal, which we'll get into in a second. Horizon Zero Dawn sold millions upon millions of copies, and it sold a lot in its first couple days. So, like, selling, as long as close to 290,000 players play through that beginning part, they'll be able to reach their goal. But this is cool that they're doing this.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I kind of want to be like, hey, Planet in Florida, I'll go visit it and carve my name in it.
Right.
That was a joke. That was a joke, but I do want to know where my tree's going. Like, hey, which one's mine? Like, I want a plaque on that thing. I did that. Yeah. Sony. I did that. I want to take a comment from Dan real quick. Dan says it might allow, talking about the co-pilot system, it might allow someone else to take some of the control so that the main player can focus on the fun stuff. So some of the more difficult things could be for someone to do the more difficult navigation, some of the stealth stuff. Hopefully the stealth stuff is a little bit more solid this time around. You're not gonna lie. Some of it was a little wonky in the first game, but
but yeah, that would be a real cool feature, especially like, for the people who aren't really good at, especially like with anxiety or whatnot, that don't like to have like stressful situations. So it's like, hey, can you take over for me? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So
but we got some sidebar here. First up, Horizon Zero Dawn has sold 20 million copies worldwide. 1 billion hours have been played. So this is the first game has surpassed 20 million copies. It came out the same day. Didn't it came out the same day as Breath of the Wild? 3
days before Breath of the Wild.
Okay. So it being able to sell that many in competition with Breath of the Wild, but it also did come out on a PC, so I know that is a huge boon to the sales of the game. But I'm glad people are getting to play the game, that they're enjoying the game, getting to see Aloy's story and everything. I'm glad that I went back and finished the story. I'm probably gonna like I have like on YouTube, like it has like the whole story, like and whatever. Like I think I might watch one of those just like catch up, like refresh myself going into this weekend and everything. So I'm really excited. Second up, Forbidden West PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 comparison reveals major differences in the geometric density resolution mode recommended.
So I'm about to say there is changes, like, and it's weird because they did do a gameplay of, just a quick tidbit on this. They did show like some gameplay trailers running on a PlayStation 4, and it's almost like Sony's reminding people, it's like, hey, PS4 players, we still think of you, we still like you, please play this game, this is great. And it's like, okay, this is a little weird. It's sort of like the little awkward like love note that you pass your crush in class, and they're like, you're just a friend, but thanks, I guess, like, okay. And then
Derek got several of those from me, like in college.
It was mostly like, hey, sign my name into the roll sheet.
In history, whatever it's it. Tell us about the last one, Derek.
The last one is, and this was announced the same day as the Plant a Tree program. Forbidden West Lego set has been announced and includes like a tall neck and an Aloy minifig. It'll be out May 22nd and it will cost $80.
That's not bad. Like $80, like
No.
that's going to be a pretty big one. Like the tall
Yeah.
neck is going to definitely be pretty big. You know, let's see. My anniversary is in June. So anyone wants to buy that for my anniversary, you can buy that for me.
And hit nudge nudge.
And hit nudge nudge, guys. Get on it, daggone it. Next up, before we get into the PlayStation quickies, I'm kind of surprised by this.
Yep.
This is a rumor, guys. Until Dawn remake is in development at Supermassive Games.
So there's been tales like, Supermassive have been doing the Dark Pictures anthology. There's one more in this set, and I know they did a trademark on several other games. So they're going to try and continue this, but it's been multi-platform. But then they also said that they're working on other projects, and this is probably one of them. Developer Supermassive Games is reportedly working on a remake of Until Dawn. It's teen horror PS4 game released back in 2016. And I can't believe it's already been 6 years. That's at least according to a known leaker of... I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Who
Account
claims on
Nugget.
Twitter... what?
Account Nugget.
Okay. Better shot than I would have taken. Who claims on Twitter that the Until Dawn remake has been in the works for some time now and will launch for current generation consoles. And it says consoles plural. So what? It could come to Xbox or maybe PC. Time will tell. Quote, from what I've heard from several separate sources, in addition to their new games, Supermassive Games is reportedly working on a remake of Until Dawn for some time that will be coming to current-gen consoles. I will try to find out more about this potential project. Presumably, the game will be released for the PS5 only, as Sony actually owns the rights to Until Dawn, even though Supermassive Games isn't a first-party studio. Even so, it's odd that they feel the need to remake the game, and it's not exactly old and looks and plays just fine when compared to the Dark Picture titles. Anyway, there's no official announcement about an Until Dawn remake yet, so take this with a pinch of salt for the time being. And they, like I said, even though the article says they speculate PS5 only, they said consoles plural. So whether that says PC or even, I think, because since they went multi-plat with Dark Pictures, I think because, yes, while Sony does own it, Sony also owns MLB. Granted, it's a whole different monster with the MLB like oversight going into it. MLB's on Xbox, and it's coming to the Switch for the first time this year. So,
well, Sony doesn't own the rights to MLB. Sony is able to make the games, like
right, and they own the studio that makes it.
Yeah, this they do own the rights to the game as a whole.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different. I think we're as I pull focus, like this is definitely. I think it's going to come to PS5, PS4. Like I think that's what consoles, PS5, PS4, PC. Boom, done.
Yeah.
And like I played Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a fantastic game. Like I enjoyed the story. I'm not big into horror games anymore and everything, but this was a fantastic game. Like it was really well done. Lots of branching choices and everything. Kind of updid Quantic Dream, to be 100% honest.
Oh, 100%.
They were showing like what actually could be done, and then but that's neither here nor there. I think the way the Dark Anthology has been received has been much more lackluster than they were expecting. So it's like, okay, well, it's been 6 years since we put out this game. Let's remake it. It's not going to be as much work. We've already got all the dialogue. We've already got the mocap. We just upgrade everything and we put it back out, and that puts us back on the map, because everybody's going to be, the people that played it before, they're going to want to see it updated. The ones that didn't get to play it on PC are going to go play it on PC. The ones that have it on PS5, they're going to want to see the difference on PS5 than PS4. Like, it's going to bring people back, and then it kind of like clears the slate of, what the Dark Anthology has been, and then moves everybody forward to what Supermassive is going to make next.
And I'm curious to see, because, one of the things that the Dark Pit, like, because they've been steadily getting better. Like, the first 3 were mediocre. House of Ashes was actually received well. It actually did well. One thing I'm curious to see, and I don't remember the exact way, like, as far as, like, the group of characters that you're with, because they like at least 5 to 8 characters in each of their stories that they tell for like different story threads and whatnot, who you can keep alive, who you want to kill off. That being said,
Yeah.
But ever since they've done the Dark Pictures, they've had a party mode where you can have up to 5 players and each one plays a different character. I wonder if they do this remake, will they implement that into Until Dawn?
I don't think so. I think that breaks, like, I don't know, like, it doesn't necessarily break the game. Because you constantly change throughout it, like it would work, but it would, like, you would have to, it would be a quote unquote separate mode essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there are several characters in that game.
Yeah,
like there are a lot. Yeah. So I look forward to it. Will I play it again? I don't know. I don't know if I want to go back into playing horror games. Not my cup of tea. But you know what is my cup of tea, Derek? Hearing you talk about the PlayStation Quickies.
Yes, sir. And we got a few this week. First of all, to start off, and you'll love to see it, PS5 was the best-selling console in the US last month. Moss Book 2 details confirm seamless camera cuts and bigger environments for PSVR sequel. Babylon's Fall demo launches February 25th, that is next week, for PS4 and PS5. Uncharted's Nathan Drake and Chloe Frazier are joining Fortnite, and that's because the new Uncharted movie is dropping. So they're doing kind of a collab for that. MLB The Show 22 confirms simultaneous online co-op, and a technical test has been confirmed, which will start tomorrow, the 17th, and will run through the 24th, which is next Thursday. Sad, but some news that you can kind of speculate. Bloodborne 2 and Bloodborne Remaster are reportedly not in active development, which I can believe Bloodborne 2 isn't, but I'm almost inclined to believe that a Bloodborne Remaster will come at some point. Maybe not this year, maybe, a few years down the road, but I think a remaster is more likely to happen than a sequel.
Yeah, I agree. I think we get a remaster and then we get the second game. Yeah. I know that seems a little counterintuitive, but Bloodborne has been out for so long, that it needs to get its footing within the community with new players to then push it, because Bloodborne did well, but it didn't sell as well as like the other Souls games because it was PlayStation exclusive. I know Dark Souls. No, Demon Souls.
Yeah, Demon Souls.
The remake did really, really, really well for PlayStation and everything. But Bloodborne came out when the PlayStation 4 was early on in the life cycle, so it wasn't as big of a attach rate and everything. So I think a remaster, I think, would be more on that. And congrats PlayStation on the best selling console in January. And then MLB, I know we were watching the Nintendo Direct. Like, you're going to be able to play cross play with all generations, which was kind of crazy to see and everything. But you love to see it, that like no matter and cross progression.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big MLB fan. I've never played the games. I played like MLB like 99. Or something like that. Like, I'm talking about back in the day, but like being able to, okay, I've got my PS5, I'm going to like high graphic fidelity. That's what I'm all about. But if I go on the road, I can take my Switch and I can still play and progress through that. I think that's dope. I want to see that more in place for other games that do have it on several different consoles and everything. So yeah, I love it.
But good luck to the people trying to do crossplay on the Switch Online Network. Just saying.
Yes, that's also what I was thinking. But, I was trying to be positive before we go into the quick hits, because, Derek, I hope you've been practicing. I hope you got the speed bag out this week, because you got a lot to get through.
I've had a week off to recuperate, so I'm ready to go. Start off, TMNT Shredder's Revenge introduces Master Splinter as a playable character. Rumor, Dead Island 2 may release this year. I'll believe it when I see it. WWE 2K22 dev is working on a AAA open-world driving game, according to a job listing. Never Alone, a nice little indie game from way back, is coming to Switch on February 24th. That is next Thursday. And Never Alone 2 has been teased. Microsoft promises to put, quote, the right people in the right position to improve Activision Blizzard culture. Disgaea 6 Complete launches on PlayStation consoles and PC this summer. Capcom is set to reveal something on February 20th. Speculation about RE4 remake, or possibly, but more and more things are pointing to Street Fighter 6. We'll see. There's definitely fan bases that'll appeal to either one. Platinum Games CEO would be open to acquisition offers that respect the studio's freedom. Free Dying Light 2 DLC is now available. Mad Max 2 reportedly in development at Avalanche Studios. I actually like the first game a lot more than people, a lot of review sites did, so I'm stoked for this. Gyro aiming and flight stick controls have been added to all modes in Fortnite. Netflix announces a film adaptation of BioShock. Sega announces a third Sonic the Hedgehog movie and a live-action Knuckles TV show. Rounding out the video game movie news, Halo TV series gets an early Season 2 renewal ahead of the Season 1 release. Dead by Daylight's The Ring crossover content titled Sadako Rising releases March 8th. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and Apex Legends Funko Pops coming this year. Nintendo will end eShop purchases for Wii U and 3DS next year. Nintendo going to Nintendo. X-Witcher and Cyberpunk devs form new studio called Rebel Wolves to develop a, quote, next-gen RPG. No Man's Sky Sentinel update brings new enemies, improved AI, additional missions, and more, and is out now. Following that, Sean Murray says No Man's Sky isn't finished, quote, by a long shot. And lastly, Activision confirms this year's Call of Duty will be to be a sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare, and a new Warzone experience will be built from the ground up.
A lot of good stuff in there. I agree with Mad Max. I only played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic game, and Avalanche always does well. So,
yes. Except when they did microtransactions in Middle-earth Shadow of War. But, neither here nor there. Still a good game.
Don't even bring that up, man. Don't even bring that up. I think about there's that like goblin doing his hands like this. And then when you would like exit out of the microtransaction, you'd be like, ugh. I even make like grunts at you. And it's like, yeah, I know. I'm not buying anything. Well, there you go, guys. There is the news that you need to know. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow, and also go check us out over on the podcast platform of your choice. So as you're going about your day, you get to listen. Make sure to give a 5-star review and write something nice. Like, it's always nice to get like words of encouragement. Like, I go check the review and I'm like, man, that makes me feel so good. Makes me feel so good.
Like you're doing something right.
Exactly. And if you know somebody that's into podcasts and doesn't like watch stuff on Twitch or whatever, share the show with them. Share the show with them. Like, the more we get people out there, the more people get to enjoy it, and the more people are up on the news, because we enjoy doing this show. So go do that. And again, this episode is brought to you by patreon.com/nerdcave. You can go support us over there and use our epic creator code NERDCAVE at checkout to toss us a few dollars and make Derek holler. Just like that. Guys, this has been Zach.
And Augazox, the oppressor.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye. Derek and the tongue thing.